Hi everyone, I'm Justin. My presentation is titled Design in the Big Picture. I'll be talking about some of my insights and learnings from the Human-Centered Human-Centered Design course thread in the form of a few key themes that stretched across the various courses I took. As was mentioned, I graduated last semester with my undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering, but I'm still here during the first semester of my 5th year of a combined bachelor and master's program. But even though I'm mechanical engineering, I consider myself more of a designer, particularly in visual design, UI design, and product design. So I'm glad I got to validate my undergraduate degree with a course thread in design. These are the classes I took. The first was actually a mechanical engineering class. It's the only mechanical engineering class in the course thread. It was Introduction to New Product Development, taught by Alice Agagino and Clark Kellogg. This is my favorite mechanical engineering class, partially due to the multidisciplinary nature and also the amount of divergent creative thinking that was involved. That wasn't found in a lot of the other mechanical engineering classes. The next was Body Conscious Design, which was a graduate architecture class taught by Galen Kranz, who's the authority on this sort of new school of ergonomics that rethinks the way you sit, the way you wear your shoes. And we got to do hands-on projects where we applied what we learned. Tangible User Interfaces was a grad class in the School of Information. We learned the theory and practice of tangible UIs, and this was also a very multidisciplinary course. And most of all, what I liked about the course was we just got to make things with Arduino microcontroller. Some of the other classes I took that weren't on the course thread per se, but really informed my design are the language of drawing, which is a drawing class I took in art, web-based product development. That's a class I'm in right now. It's cross-listed as a business class. And then UI design. And then Berkeley Innovation is an undergraduate human-centered design club on campus. So the first thing I want to talk about, the first theme I wanted to talk about was human-centered design, and particularly the word human, because this is ultimately who we're designing for and creating new technologies for. Oftentimes, we lose sight of that with the whole notion of technology for technology's sake. Technology should really make our lives simpler, simpler and better rather than the other way around. This television remote control is a lot more complicated than necessary, and I know my mom, for one, would struggle with using this, but she's still a user of it. So I think human-centered design should really be a redundant phrase in that all design should imply that it's designed for humans. And it's unfortunate that it's not always the case. So everybody has a story, every user. This is a storyboard from my UI design class that I'm currently in. And we're prototyping a mobile app and website that allows people to receive a curated feed of items, clothing items that fit them both in size and style. And exercises such as the storyboard allow us to approach design through people's experiences and how they use and interact with the product, which is really the big picture. So, learn to play. This was a common theme for me across courses as I made my way through the course thread. It taught me that even now I can play again, and it's okay to play in class. Learning used to be fun. This is a kindergarten class. As you can see, the kids are up and about, engaged in making things, collaborating with one another. And studies have shown that kinesthetic engagement actually stimulates the brain and creative thinking. But unfortunately for a lot of us, this is probably the last time that we get to do this on a regular basis. At some point, learning stopped becoming fun and instead it became more of a chore. Starting as early as grade school, you get put in these single desks, isolated from your classmates, just listening to a teacher at the front of the classroom lecturing on something. You're told to sit still and be well behaved. Same thing as you graduate to high school, college, and then in the real world where cubicles are still the norm, unfortunately. But for a project in my Intro to New Product Development class, we had the goal of redesigning classroom seating. For this, we really wanted to break the paradigm that I talked about. We wondered, why can't higher level classes be interactive, collaborative, and kinesthetic? We used this metaphor of the classroom as a playground to inform our design. The project we ended up designing was called Active Classrooms. We have these modular cube units that facilitate collaboration and movement among students. You can arrange your environment however you want. You can store things. They have removable whiteboards to write and share. We took a very big picture approach to this. Not only did we aim to redesign seating, but we wanted to rethink pedagogy itself. So our teaching methods, the way we're teaching students. We made with our prototype furniture which we think supports this new style of pedagogy, and our slogan was "Learn to Play."
When my son was 4 in England.
Oops, sorry. So this is a video some of you may have seen. It's a TED Talk, one of the more popular TED Talks by Ken Robinson, where he says, schools kill creativity.
When my son was 4 in England, actually he was 4 everywhere, to be honest. I mean, if we're being strict about it, wherever he went, he was 4 that year. But he was in the Nativity play. Do you remember the story? No, it was big. It was a big story. Mel Gibson did the sequel. You may have seen it. I don't know. It was Nativity 2. But James got the part of Joseph, which we were thrilled about. We consider this to be one of the lead parts. We had the place crammed full of agents and T-shirts. You know, James Robinson is Joseph. He didn't have to speak. But do you know the bit where the 3 kings come in? They come in bearing gifts, and they bring gold, frankincense, and myrrh. This really happened. We're sitting there, and they, I think, just went out of sequence. Because we talked to the little boy afterwards and said, you know, are you okay with that? And they said, yeah, why was that wrong? They just switched. I think that was it. Anyway, the 3 boys came in, little 4-year-olds with tea towels on their heads, and they put these boxes down. The first boy said, I bring you gold. And the second boy said, I bring you myrrh. And the third boy said, Frank sent this. What these things have in common is that kids will take a chance. You know, if they don't know, they'll have a go. Am I right? They're not frightened of being wrong. Now, I don't mean to say that being wrong is the same thing as being creative. What we do know is, if you're not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original. If you're not prepared to be wrong. And by the time they get to be adults, most kids have lost that capacity. They have become frightened of being wrong. And we run our companies this, by the way. We stigmatize mistakes. And we're now running national education systems where mistakes are the worst thing you can make. And the result is that we are educating people out of their creative capacities. Picasso once said this. He said that all children are born artists. The problem is to remain an artist as we grow up. I believe this passionately, that we don't grow into creativity, we grow out of it. Or rather, we get educated out of it.
So he addressed some of the pedagogical issues that I was talking about. The last topic I wanted to talk to you about was creating emotion. Emotion makes a design stick. And so design isn't just about function, but it's about creating meaning with the people who use it. Products that do so end up being the most compelling, and it might separate a great product from a good one. This is a website that I made with a few other engineers and business people in my web-based product development class. It uses crowdsourcing to build the best lists of anything. For example, must-pack items for a cross-country road trip. Users can vote items up and down, add items, and create any list. We released it, got over 1,000 visitors on the site. But one of the most crucial things that to address as we move forward, if we consider further developing the site, is making the experience using the sites more compelling somehow to make users come back again and again. The key is to consider the meaning or emotion behind a user using it. For example, some people might be OCD and love making lists of things, or if you use the site, you might find some sort of validation or joy when people vote the items that you added up. Mookies is a project for tangible user interfaces. As these little containers called Mookies allow you to record sound by opening them up, and then you could play back the sound by pressing. So with multiple Mookies, you can kind of create an orchestra of sounds. In our design, we wanted to make it kind of fun and engaging through both the material and how you interact with it. So that's another that's also something that is good for design. Don Norman, an academic in the field of design, believes that pleasant-looking objects are more effective to the user by virtue of their sensual appeal. He argues that these positive emotions that arise from an aesthetic or pleasant design actually open your mind to learning how to use the design better. In closing, design has really defined my experience at Berkeley. The lessons and experiences in the Course Threads program has really been a turning point for me in my education and life. Looking back, it's really my design education and a certain amount of other non-engineering classes that I took that have been the most worthwhile. I feel like the engineering courses allowed me to kind of zoom in on the details of a design, like the dimensions, the material, the stress analysis on it, whereas the design courses have allowed me to step back and sort of view the larger picture and consider the human experience and how to improve the human experience as a whole. And I think oftentimes in our education we lose sight of the big picture and then focus on the details. So I think wherever we can, we should practice big picture thinking in our own respective fields. Thank you.